Oh my goodness, it feels weird to be back in action now that we're past the 300th
It
episode. I'm
does.
not gonna lie. Like, I mean, we're just getting to the point where I need to take my leave and my baby aspirin every single morning. Okay, and I mean, there's a couple different vaccinations that I just haven't gotten yet, but I'll get around to it at some point if I remember. But it's gonna be a great freaking show. We're gonna be talking all about the Emmy nominations that came out this past week, and man, oh man, could this finally be the turn of the tide that we've been waiting for, at least in the comedy category when it comes to television shows? Because the Bear and Hacks, they now have some competition coming in, right?
They absolutely do. And by the way, I just want to let you know, here is fine, but 30, it's all downhill, man. Just to give you that. If you're taking a leave and stuff now, just wait. Here, still 25. But the body reminds me every day that I'm not. Good luck with that, buddy. Yeah, it is definitely. I got to tell you, there's some new competition. That's clear. We're definitely seeing some surprises and everything. If I had to, and we'll talk about this when we dive deep into it, but if there was ever a definitive year, I think, that put the stamp on network television is at some point on its last leg and streamers are the future, it was this year's nominations. That it was clear amongst anything else. I mean, network is like, it's on life support at this point as far as entertainment goes. Might still have some kick with sports, but even sports is transitioning. So I don't know, man. But we're going to dive deep into it. It's going to be really fun. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about the surprises and the new meat in the game, if you will.
Yeah, it's going to be very freaking interesting. We're super excited about it because that's what we do here at ITCAFpodcast, bring you the latest and greatest entertainment news that happens in the entertainment industry. Well, let's get this thing started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Did y'all see that? What?
Let's just throw Scream 6 in there for like
it was good.
Movie. It was really good. The best of the franchise, in my opinion, since the first one.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Oh my goodness, welcome back to ITCAF Podcast.
Yes.
Like I said, episode 301. Oh my goodness. And you guys know your host with the most, myself, J. Logan Austin, and of course, the one and only Dustin M. Bergman.
Yes, what's up?
Man, oh man, we're super freaking excited about it. But before we dive into all the nitty-grittiness that is the Emmy nominations and a couple of things that are happening in the entertainment industry, we got to take care of some business. Okay?
Yes.
Please be sure to leave a rating on this podcast, comment below, and tell us what you actually think about the show. Because if you didn't know, leaving a rating on the podcast actually helps more people who are trying to break into the entertainment industry find the show. And those who just love entertainment news as well, that helps them find the show too. So please be sure to do that. Word of mouth is everything in this industry. So please, 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 we appreciate anything and everything you do for us here at ITCAF Podcast. And of course, be sure to visit our website as well, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got a little bit of something for a little bit of everyone. We got the shirts, we got the hats, we got a little bit of everything, man. We're super excited for everything that we have going on here at Crazy Ant Media. And then also, we are coming back with our Everything's Okay podcast, our mental health one next week. So please be sure to check that out. Episode 51, another milestone when it comes to podcasts.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking all about memories, the good ones and the bad. So we're super freaking excited about all of that. But now it is time to dive into our entertainment news for this week. The Emmy nominations. We're breaking down the 77th Emmy Awards. Man, oh man. Record breakers were happening. Surprises dropped. Some got snubbed. And we've got all of it lined up just for you because you're special. So grab your coffee, your cocktail, and we don't judge here. Just settle in, sit back, relax, and get into who's leading, who's missing, and what it means for the future of television.
Yeah, and of course we're going to start off with the biggest headlines coming out of it, right? And that means who got what. So first up, Severance. If you hadn't heard, it's the big beast this year in the show. 27 nominations for Severance alone. That's more than any other show. But there were some that were close, right?
For sure, man. Our freaking favorite, the Penguin, is leading the limited series side with 24 nominations, and White Lotus and the studio both crushed it as well with 23 nominations each.
Yeah, and I mean, get this, guys. The studio now, first year out, like just boom, first year out, the most nominated freshman comedy ever. That's not a bad way to come out swinging when you're new on the block, right? It's like if you're trying to make a statement, that's it.
It's true. It's true. I definitely think that it's going to walk away with a handful, but not everything. Because, you got to earn your stripes. That's for sure. Just like HBO Max, they just keep stacking up their trophies. They hit a personal best with 142 nominations total this year. So I know that is very, very good, especially when your stock looks the way it does over at Warner Brothers Discovery. But I know Zasloff is happy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and let me just say this. HBO Max now, and prior to the launch of streamers and just HBO, as soon as the Emmys started including cable, and not just broadcast, HBO has never looked back. They have dominated, and they have for decades. They seem to always come in with the most nominations, and they might have a hiccup a year here or there, but overall, basically since the Academy allowed cable, and then I guess transitioned into streamers, HBO pretty much the bar. I mean, and they just did it again this time, 142, like you said. But what's the total tally for the other guys? Well, let's jump into the scoreboard, okay? Here's how the rest of them stacked up. As Logan said, HBO Max was on top with 142. But the Mouse House would not be denied. They came in really close. Now, of course, they've got things that compile into their total, ABC, Hulu, and Disney+. But they came in with 137, which is right on HBO's tail. So that's pretty good.
For sure. And then we have the streaming giant itself, Netflix, which clocked in about 120 nominations, thanks to the stuff of Adolescence, of course, and then the Black Mirror as well. Well, Apple TV Plus also landed about 81 tallies this year, most off the backs of Severance and The Studio, of course. Those successful shows are two very different, drastic genres, and so they're racking it in with drama and comedy.
Oh, without doubt. And, yeah, the broadcast, hold on. Clear! Yeah, no, still no heartbeat. They're dead, guys. It's basically over. CBS, NBC, and ABC still there, but barely. No joke. Altogether, they averaged about 25 to 40 nominations each, which is well below when you're talking to everybody else, damn near 100 or more. You're coming in at like 25 to 40. It is definitely rough for networks, and I think that broadcast network television, I'm just going to say, within the next decade, gone. I really do think gone. If it even lasts the next decade, that's all I'm saying.
It's been lasting longer than we were anticipating, that's for sure, because when we started this show about 7.5 years ago, we were definitely thinking that it was going to go more rapidly than what actually has. But, I mean, what does this mean for streamers versus broadcast? I mean, well, honestly, the gap says it all. Streaming is king right now. Broadcast networks are definitely on life support, like you said, at this current point.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that kept us from being right when we first said it was sports. I think that's the only reason it hadn't died as quick as we thought it would, and now they're transitioning over to the streamers, so I think that's going to be it. But I completely agree with you. The streamers, they put out they take the biggest chances. Big, bold stories, bigger budgets, crazy risks, like I said, which means what? They're luring the big stars. Movie stars are doing streamer television shows, which was before unheard of. If you were a big movie star, you didn't want to end up on broadcast network TV. That was like a downgrade back in the day, but now it's not. And that's, of course, like Severance, The Penguin, White Lotus. These types of shows not being shown on network television anymore. They're just your state. I won't say that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. There are some here or there that are risky and that are doing well, but not enough, and that's why I think it's dying.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, broadcast is still trying to stay alive, though, because they're bringing in these iconic legends, that's for sure. Because, I mean, look exactly at Kathy Bates with Matlock. She's 77 and nominated in the lead actress category. That's a huge milestone, but kind of the exception that proves the rule that is going on. Because, I mean, what was it? How old is Harrison Ford? And he just got
Like
nominated for the
83.
first time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's things like that.
Well, and she's like, I love that you said that, the exception to the rule, basically, because she's exactly what I'm talking about. A movie star that landed on a network show, which is just unheard of at this point. But look at the success that she's having. But to be fair, like I said, there are some really outstanding series still on broadcast networks that just aren't getting the due recognition, in my opinion. Like Tracker, Found, Fire Country. There's so many of them that are outstanding performances week in and week out by the cast, by the directors, by the writers, and really solid storylines, and they're just not getting the attention because audiences want new ideas and more diverse casts, and they're cool paying for it if they have to get that. But I feel because of the success of the streamers, you are missing out. Because look at Found, for example. That is a cast with just diverse coming out the wazoo. They had every nationality, basically, and it was about diversity. The whole show was completely ignored. And so, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. And I mean, you hinted at a couple of huge milestones, but I mean, let's dive deeper into it because Severance's Tremel Tillman is the most nominated in the supporting actor category. Now, this is one of the first black actors ever in that category for drama, and he could make history to be the first one to win it, which would be absolutely crazy for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And like you mentioned earlier, Kathy Bates became the oldest nominee ever for lead actress in a drama. And it's hard to believe, but it's her 15th Emmy nod. But this seems like the one she's getting the most attention for. But it's going to be honest. Let's be honest about it. She's basically broadcast TV's Lone Ranger this year. She's really the only one that got really any attention and fanfare, which we'll talk about because I don't understand how she got it and Sky didn't. And like, because I mean, that's a partnership. One doesn't exist without the other, so it's hard to say we're going to give one and not. That drives me crazy when they do that.
Right. I mean, exactly. And I mean, also the studio scoring all of those nominations as a rookie comedy. That's absolutely huge. But the fresh blood making it clear that there is a new sheriff in town. That's for freaking sure. I definitely feel like, too, that this is a show about the industry that has never been done like this before.
Right.
All the shows about the industry in the past, even Entourage, it was more of a dramedy type of thing. This is straight up comedy. You know the stakes. There's really no overall storyline, but you have the pocket storylines of each episode.
Right.
And I think that's what they're doing completely well.
One thing that we loved seeing this year, and we do give credit where credit is due, there was more diversity breakthrough in the nominees. Tremel Tillman, as you said, for Severance, Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us. That's really refreshing because for a long time this category was ignored, but it's fun seeing young, queer, non-binary talent actually getting recognition in these categories on the big stage, right?
Completely freaking agree. Because, I mean, on the comedy side, too, Bowen Yang,
Yep.
Coleman Domingo, Michael Urie, they're doing very big things right now. I mean, the LGBT plus, like, talent that is showing up is very strong. Plus shows like Adolescent, Severance, getting props for inclusivity, hiring behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we love that, too, because those are just as important as who you see in front of the camera. But as always, can we have any award show without somebody getting snubbed? No. So, biggest snub, and I think everybody was really surprised by this, Squid Game got completely shut out, like 0 nominations. And remember, it wasn't too long ago where it won fucking everything, and now, like, nothing. Just, like, biggest phenomenon ever to absolutely, like, what? What's Squid Game? I mean, I was surprised by that, legit.
For sure. And I mean, you also have Handmaid's Tale, Hulu's biggest original show. It just got one nomination for its final season. We know how the Emmys like to finally award shows at the very end of their tenure, but it looks like it's not making the cut. And like freaking even Elizabeth Moss didn't make it. That is absolutely brutal because she's been putting that show on her back for I think 7 years, something like that.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. And not enough people are talking about that, but they are talking about how pretty fucking shitty upset they are that Patrick Schwarzenegger and Sam Nivola didn't get recognized for White Lotus. That's because every other actor on the show did. They had to leave somebody off of the list, for Christ's sake. And this is the one, though. This is the one. This is the single most nominated person in Oscar history, right, as far as females go. So this should have been a no-brainer, right? But apparently not. Meryl Streep did not get a nomination for Only Murders in the Building. How do you snub Meryl Streep? Most people would agree that she's probably the greatest female actor of all time. Definitely of this generation. So how you snub her altogether and just be like, meh, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's very weird because, I mean, Kathy Bates, we keep bringing her up. She's the one that's swinging for network television. And, I mean, there might be a tiny little silver lining for broadcast, but, I mean, it's still really hard to see. And, I mean, plus, you're seeing the evolution where we're at now, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of actors that are getting phased out, and the entertainment industry is looking drastically different than it did 10, 15 years ago. So we're in a very interesting time right now, that's for sure.
Oh, without doubt. And like you said, just real quick, Harrison Ford. First of all, it's hard to believe this is his first nomination. I mean, the guy's been at it for like 7 decades, literally. Yeah. And this is his first nomination, but 83 years old. He's the oldest nominee to ever to be nominated. But I like, because of what you just said, Kathy Bates, because I feel like if you had given Harrison Ford the nomination and then ignored Kathy Bates, it would have played right into that conversation that on the female side, once you hit a certain age, they phase you out. You know, men are distinguished at 83, but women, they're pretty much old news by that age. And so I'm glad that somebody of Kathy's age got the nomination to hold, because it certainly would have played into that conversation. So kind of like what I teased at the top of the show, my thoughts on it are, and the biggest takeaway from it is, streaming is ruling Hollywood right now. It's completely evident why all the major studios have shifted their priority to the streamers. It's all about the streamers. And these Emmy nominations make that clear. If you thought otherwise, you're just mistaken. And I mean, this is why. It's all the money's being pumped there. All of the profit that they're trying to make is going there. And this is clear. This is the future, right?
Who would have known that when the cable industry introduced like the DVRs, the Tubies, the the boob tube, as they like to call it, the on demand. Who would have thought when on demand came to in the society spectrum of the television industry, that it would turn into this global phenomena that is on demand. You can have anything and everything you want, as long as you have that particular streaming service. So I never thought it would go this far, but it's very interesting though, because like the Emmys are always like, because with television shows getting multiple seasons and with their timelines for qualifications being so weird, like a lot of the same things get nominated time after time again. That's why we got so excited when the studio gets brought into the mix, when the Severance over the past 2 years have been brought into the mix. But now the problem is, with the Severance and the studio being brought in, those television shows with the quality that they are, and that I'm sure that Apple Television will keep producing, they're going to be there for the next foreseeable future, at least 3 to 4 years. So it's like, it's so weird because the Emmys do not like to change it up. I feel like it's been like this for so long.
I do want to give them credit where credit is due, though. I want to recognize them, and we didn't put this in our list of categories, guys, because they don't show this on the part that airs on television. This is a separate ceremony, but documentaries. they did recognize Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, which was completely snubbed by the Oscars in the documentary category, which shame on the Oscars, because it's a brilliant documentary and look at that man's life and what he means to pop culture and just generations of people. So kudos to the Emmy Academy, the Television Academy, for recognizing that and nominating him. They got a ton of nominations for it. Don't know if it'll win or not. We'll have to watch the governor's ceremony or the little ceremony that they announce those in, but we'll let you know. But I just wanted to give props where props was due, because, you know, that was something that should have been recognized by the Motion Picture Academy and was snubbed. So at least somebody got it right.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we were talking about all throughout this time of the broadcast television going away. And I mean, with that being said, Souls Colbert, Stephen Colbert and CBS ending their tenure, not only together, but for The Late Show as well, which is absolutely crazy. They say it's coming strictly from a financial decision, and with the broadcast industry dying, they don't even see the point of bringing somebody else in there. Which it makes sense, because you saw after James Corden left the Late Show, they replaced it with Taylor Tomlinson's game show type thing, and then now this happening for CBS. CBS isn't going to have a late night show at all, and it's kind of sad, because I feel like this is going to be the last generation of late night show hosts, which is kind of crazy.
Well, and I agree with all of that. I do not buy Paramount's explanation as to why they're canceling it. They can say it's financial. They're full of shit. There's one reason and one reason only why this thing is being canceled. It's the highest rated late night talk show. There's no denying that ratings have fallen significantly in late night talk shows. That's just true. That's been happening over the past couple of decades. No denying. I'm not claiming that that's not true. But he is the highest rated. He's been number one. He took over the Tonight, he took the number one spot away from the Tonight Show several years back and hasn't looked back. He's held on to that number one spot. So I think the real reason, and nobody can convince me otherwise of this, they're scared of Donald Trump. They just settled with Donald Trump. Colbert doesn't like him. He pokes the bear all the time on the show. And they just had to settle that $16 million lawsuit when Trump sued them. Now, keep in mind, guys, there's a merger happening there with Skydance, okay? And Skydance is owned by the Ellisons. And Elder Ellison
is chummy.
Like this with Trump, okay? Like this. Not just like this, but a huge donor to Trump, big backer of Trump. And
having behind the door meetings at UFC fights and shit.
And what does that merger need? Oh yeah, needs the government to sign off on the approval. Yeah. And that's all you got to do is piss off the one guy that will make sure it doesn't get approved if you piss him off, because if the people responsible for approving it want to approve it, he'll fire them and appoint somebody that won't put the merger through because they pissed him off. If you don't think that that's true, you're just not paying attention. So that is my true belief. I think this is a setup. I think Paramount and Skydance are going, well, we need this to happen, so we better get rid of the guy Trump doesn't like, and we better make good to make him happy. And that's really why I think this happened. And we're going to see. Because if it's a financial reason, there's a dozen other things that need to be canceled that aren't making money for CBS either. That's just, I'm just saying. And you didn't hear any of those getting canceled. I think this was a direct Trumpster move. That, no doubt.
It definitely seems that way. But hey, they didn't have to apologize as a company.
That's
CBS did not have to apologize.
That's right.
So. Very funny, man. Very funny. Anyway. Now transitioning over to our top 5 segment, which is still having to deal with the Emmys. This week, it is top 5 favorite shows that were snubbed by the Emmys. I went all time. Dustin went more recent. And definitely, it's still in current retrospect years, I would say.
Yeah,
within the last
you have a couple current ones on there that I totally agree. I love this list because I agree with all of these.
Especially my number one, man. I'm super excited to talk about that because all of his shows have never really been nominated.
No,
completely ignored which is crazy because the writing is brilliant.
And epic, huge stars on all of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Movie stars on all of them. Like,
exactly,
it's unreal.
Exactly. Well, that's why you have to stay tuned for my number 1 pick, and we can talk all about this big freaking franchise, I guess you could say. But my number 5, my first pick, goes to Netflix's own Tires. This is a new half-hour comedy series that is on Netflix. The first season did very well. Of course, it has Shane Gillis attached as one of the main stars, and he is a writer, producer, executive producer on this as well. But it's just fun, lighthearted, like almost slapstick comedy in current day time that I feel like doesn't really get recognized enough. Obviously, we know that Ted Sarandos loves comedies, loves stand-up comedy, so this is definitely geared more towards that as well, which makes sense. But yeah, I definitely feel like Tires does not get recognized enough, especially in the comedy category, which it should. So yeah, my number 5, Tires, man.
I 1000% agree. I think this one should have been on the list. Performances from the show should have been on the list. It's a no-brainer to me. Just like my number 5. This one came swinging right out of the gate. Was the number 1 show on television when it debuted. The only reason it's still not the number 1, in my opinion, is because it was a mid-season replacement. It only had 10 episodes. So we're not still talking about it right now. But it got renewed immediately. And I'm talking, of course, about The Good Doctor's replacement. And very likely Grey's Anatomy's replacement down the line, Doc. Unbelievable performances week in and week out on that show. Touching on very touchy subjects. And not a single mention. Nothing. And I'm like, how do you ignore a show that does include diversity, inclusivity, outstanding performances, outstanding directing? Like everything about this show is fantastic. And they take risks with the subject matter that they're talking about. And yet, everything that they claim they're picking these other shows for, this show has and got no love. I don't understand. Is it just because it's on broadcast TV? Like, I don't understand. My number 5, Doc.
Yes, I completely agree. The more we go through our list, the more I'm recognizing a trend with a certain company, which we can dive deeper into a little bit later on. Number 4 for me goes to Yellow Jackets on Paramount Plus, CBS, all the good things. Yellow Jackets is freaking crazy. Acting is absolutely phenomenal. A huge stepping stone and pedestal for young actresses who are breaking into the entertainment industry, that are going to take over the entertainment industry, because it is performed brilliantly. Like, every single actress that is a part of this show knocks it out of the park, especially the young versions of the kids. Like, I love every single, but then of course you have Melanie Linsky, you have so many others that are the adult versions of the characters as well, that knock it out of the park. This is another show that has not been recognized enough because it's loosely about cannibalism, I feel like. So it's too dark, too crazy. The theme song still scares the shit out of me, but it's still a good show. It's number 4 for me, Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And while Melanie Linsky finally got recognition, finally did get some Emmy nominations a couple of years ago for this show, it hasn't been recognized nearly enough. No. If you want to pick a show where, like I said, I have a real problem with, where you nominate literally everybody on the show, this should be one of those shows. Like you said, the young actors and the adult actors knock it out of the park every single episode. The directing is phenomenal. The storytelling, the writing, the look and feel of it, it should be nominated every single season. And the fact that it's ignored, again, you want to praise shows for taking big swings or hitting controversial subjects. Well, this one does. And I don't know how you miss that. I don't know how you don't nominate that one. My number 4, same thing. Now, I will say, Brian Henry Tyree got nominated, okay? But again, this is where I have the biggest things. Like the same thing with Kathy Bates with Matlock and everything. This is a partnership duo of lead actors playing off of each other in the storyline. They need each other to progress the storyline. So how do you nominate Brian and not Wagner Moura? They both should have been nominated because it's equal in the story of what they're, and both the performance. And I would argue, and I love Brian, but I would argue Wagner more so deserved it because he's strung out. He's like whacked up. He is fucked up, and he's all into that. And I just think I don't know, both of these guys and the show in general. Guys, this is about Philly and about these two guys who pretended to be DEA agents and busted in on gangs and stole all their drugs and then, oops, busted in on the wrong fucking house where there was actual DEA agents undercover and they killed one of them. And then, yeah, all kinds of trouble went fucking, this was a brilliant show that is touching on something that is relevant, that is happening in society today, that is taking lives on a daily basis, the drug epidemic and opioids and all the crime and the gangs. Nothing. I mean, Brian, that's it. This should have been nominated. This is another one, kudos to Apple. This is an Apple series. Took the big swing and nailed it. And to their credit, every show they have is awesome. It's just true. It's awesome. And sidetrack, because Jake Gyllenhaal got it, Presumed Innocent. Same thing. How do you nominate Jake and then nobody else on the show and not the show itself? It was brilliant. It was a switch take, different from the movie. Same premise, but different. And Ruth Negga should have been nominated for lead actress in the series. She was right there with Jake. Bam, 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 bam the whole time. Jake doesn't work without Ruth's performance. I don't know, man. So I just wanted to throw that one in there too. But my number 4, Dope Thief / Presumed Innocent.
For sure, man. For sure. Number 3 for me goes to The Better Sister. Now, this one is on Amazon Prime. It's got Elizabeth Banks. It's got Jessica Biel. It's got the kid from that 90s show. And then it's got what's-his-face from Ant-Man. He was the bad guy in the first Ant-Man. This one is kind of like a thriller, a murder thriller type of show. And there's a lot of family drama.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, the husband who dies was originally with the biological mother, but the sister comes in and steals her husband and also steals her baby and like a whole bunch of shit. But Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks acting side by side as sisters that are going head to head and then trying to figure out who murdered the husband. Like it's crazy. It's a crazy concept because, like, of course there's the blame game, pointing fingers in all different directions for different reasons. It's very intriguing and it's very enlightening in like how they bring these characters forward and how you like want to like them, but you're like, oh, you're actually kind of shady though, so I shouldn't like you. So the dynamic that it plays in your own mind is very fun. But it looks like too that not a lot of Amazon Prime got noticed this year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you used to have Fleabag and you used to have Marvelous Miss Maisel and a couple of other ones from Amazon Prime, and not happening now.
No.
What's going on? Oh yeah, they just had a head studio change up over there at Amazon MGM Studios. So we'll see what happens over there, but it's not looking good. They're still putting out good stuff, but apparently not big critically acclaimed stuff.
Yeah,
but
Reacher.
Better Sister is really good, guys. So please be sure to check that out. Number 3 for me, The Better Sister.
Wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said about that, and I would / Reacher. Phenomenal show that's getting no recognition. You're right. They are ignoring kind of Amazon. Going back to the other studio that they're ignoring on every which way possible. My number 3, Tracker. Guys, I get that the show is a little formulaic. You know, it's kind of this is what's happening week in, week out. But it's outstanding stories every single week and phenomenal acting. It's Justin Hartley and Ken Olin is behind it. And Ken Olin is the guy who basically directed every episode almost of come on now. Justin Hartley, what's the name? This Is Us. And it's there. His direction on this show, the two of them working together. I mean, Justin Hartley is is giving phenomenal performances week in and week out, just like he did on This Is Us. And this show is being completely ignored. It's the #1 show on television. Well, it keeps bouncing back and forth between that and Matlock. But since it debuted, and I don't understand how it doesn't get recognition. It has great guest stars making appearance. There should have been guest star Emmy nominations on there. I mean, Jensen Ackles, and I don't get it. I don't understand how you ignore a show. It's like the Oscars when they snub the biggest box office hit. This is like a #1 show drawing massive ratings, and we're just gonna act like it doesn't exist. I don't get that. I don't get it. My #3, Tracker.
Yeah, it is weird, man. It is weird. #2, which is very freaking surprising because this is very artsy. This is very drama. This is very going back to nostalgia, classic Paramount. I'm talking about The Offer, which is basically the making of The Godfather, which is crazy because this thing was absolutely wild, man. You have Miles Teller. You have Justin Chambers used to be from Grey's Anatomy, playing Marlon Brando. You have Dan Fogley, I think that from the Goldbergs and a couple of different things. He was absolutely amazing as Francis Ford Coppola. So many performances that knock it out of the park.
Matthew
and
Good.
It's a very artsy show. I don't understand. This show didn't get recognized by the Television Academy at all. So yeah, I was super disappointed in that because it shows the making of one of the best film, if not the best film of all time. So I don't absolutely understand. So #2 for me, The Offer.
Yeah, just insane, right? It makes absolutely no sense at all how that was ignored. It just, I don't even know. Just mind-boggling. My #2, same thing. This is a phenomenally diverse cast. African American, Latino, white, indigenous, Native American. This cast is full of diversity and inclusivity. They have LGBTQ characters. They don't stray away. You're talking drug use, crime, murder, illegitimate children, adoption. They don't stray away from any, subject that they dive into everything. And of course, I'm talking about fire country. They also dive into politics about how it ain't always great when they're trying to fight fires. Government doesn't give them the funding, or they want to shut things down, or they don't want to give second chances to convicts. This is a phenomenal show with phenomenal performances week in and week out from the entire cast. And again, completely ignored. I don't understand because, when we were talking about all the ones that got nominated, we had that little checklist, great storytelling, great acting, diversity, inclusivity. All these on our list are check, 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 check. Why are they not nominated? There's got to be a reason. I think the majority of my list was not nominated because it's on broadcast television and not streamers, which is just insane to me because these shows are what we say we want and they're still being ignored. So my #2, Fire Country, and hopefully that cast and those creators will get recognized at some point because it's a fantastic show.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Well, my #1 goes to Billy Bob Thornton and Taylor Sheridan's Landman. Now, this is crazy, guys, because if you've watched any of the Taylor Sheridan shows, he is a phenomenal freaking writer. Maybe the best writer that is in the entertainment industry right now, but the Television Academy has completely ignored him throughout his entire run. How has Yellowstone not been nominated for anything before in the past? I don't know, it's very frustrating because is it because it is a blue collar type of show? Is it because it's very Americana and we're kind of still in a woke culture in the entertainment industry? Or is it because it's mainly based around a loosely cowboys and Indians type of theme? I don't get it because it's an amazing show. It gets amazing ratings. All of the spinoffs do great. They're critically acclaimed, but they're not getting the attention and notoriety from these award shows that it should be getting. How is this show not pulling in Emmys and Golden Globes every single year? It makes no freaking sense, but especially Landman. Landman is So freaking good. I just got done watching the first season a couple months ago, and Billy Bob Thornton takes this thing by the horns and just rides it off into the sunset. The writing is phenomenal. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. It makes you be proud of who you are as like a family man or just a man trying to get his family back together. Like, it's a phenomenal show that definitely has not been given the credit it deserves. So number one for me, Landman.
Oh, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, come on, Billy Bob Thornton, he should have been winning an Emmy every fucking week. Like, I don't understand how that his performance is superior. It's absolutely brilliant. And Paulina Chavez, Ali Larder, they talk about diversity and inclusivity. The majority of this show is highlighting the problem that people have with the Latino community. They're basically like, hey, wait a minute, not all of us are fucking drug dealers and cartel members or illegitimate, illegal aliens. Some of us are just good people here, right? And they touch on that. They don't shy away from it. And the diversity in the cast and the people that they have, oh my God, I'm right there with you. I don't understand. I mean, like you said, Lioness, Zoe Saldana, Nicole Kidman. I don't understand how that one hasn't been nominated. The snub for Taylor Sheridan's universe in general just is mind-boggling to me. Yeah. I don't even know.
Mayor of Kingstown.
I just don't get it. Yeah. My number one, I'm convinced the only reason is because it's on NBC. If this was on HBO Max, it would be knocking it out of the park with fucking nominations. I'm talking about Found. And I am convinced it is ignored because it is on broadcast television and not on a streamer. This is the one with Shanola Hampton and Mark Paul Gosselaar. This hits every category massively. And I want to give credit. Shanola Hampton, Kelly Williams, Brett Dalton, Gabrielle Walsh, Arlen Esperada, Karim Oberry, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Rosaria Carter, Anissa Niall Johnson, Jasmine, Bill Kelly. The cast is unbelievable, y'all. Knock it out of the park on every episode. Gives you every range of emotion and feels with the storyline that's happening. This is about representation of people of color who are ignored in this country, especially when they go missing. And what the show is all about, focusing on missing people and focusing specifically on missing people of color and the issues that go on in this country, and completely ignored. And I just don't get that. I mean, and again, this is much like what you said with Yellow Jackets. The back and forth between the young actors who were playing the young versions of the older actors that were kidnapped, right? The back and forth with those performances, it was just mind-boggling, phenomenal, and terrifying. I mean, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Zach himself, terrifying in this show. And how it was ignored, I'm convinced the only reason is because it was on broadcast. This is a show that deserved Emmy nominations. The entire cast deserved Emmy nominations. And I just don't get it. I feel bad for Shanola and the entire gang. I feel like it was underrepresented, and shame on all the studios for not picking this up, because they did try to shop it around to save it and nobody picked it up. Shame on all of y'all for not taking a swing on that, because this should have found a home on a streamer and it would have been slam dunk. It would have been huge in the ratings if it had found a show on a streamer. And that's just my opinion on it. But my number one, Found.
Yes, I completely agree, man. I mean, it definitely deserved way more than what it got, and it shouldn't have even been canceled in the first place. No. Yeah, I completely agree. Well, we want to know, what is your favorite show that has been snubbed by the Emmys? Your favorite show that's never won an award, basically. Please be sure to comment below in the YouTube comment section, or add us on X, Threads, Instagram, any of the good places. We love the fan interaction, so please be sure to let us know your favorite show that has never won an award.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, now we're heading over to the box office recap, where Superman came soaring into number one place.
Yes.
With 125 million. How's that, all you haters out there on the interwebs, especially the ones that Dustin and I were arguing with weeks before before Superman freaking exploded the box office, saying that it would not break $100 million. Well, look at it now.
And
that's for sure.
And the drop off, I don't think you and I have been talking about this. It's going to be a good drop off, guys. It's not going to be horrible. It had the biggest Monday of the year, the biggest Tuesday of the year, the biggest Wednesday of the year, the biggest Thursday of the year. So even the week after, it was breaking records for the most amount of money on a weekday for the year so far. It's going to do okay the second weekend, I'm just saying.
Yes, for sure. I mean, we've got our tickets. We're going back on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Emily didn't see it, so we're going back. Saw it open at night, and now we're seeing it a week later. Hopefully, it can be good. It can be good. Jurassic World Rebirth did come in at number 2 with that spot, which is crazy because that's been out 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
I think 3 weeks. So with $40 million, F1 is in 3rd place with $13 million. How to Train Your Dragon is in 4th place with 7.9, and Elio at number 5 with $4 million. Where something's getting bumped off this week, that's for sure.
Elio.
I still think Superman will be number 1 at the box office, but we do have I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out. We have the Smurfs coming out. We have Eddington and Sorry Baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm giving my predictions, I'm going to go Superman, and then, man, this is crazy. I'm going to go Superman, Smurfs, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Jurassic World, F1. That's what I'm going with.
Interesting.
I think Smurfs is going to do better than I Know What You Did Last Summer. And, that's what these predictions are about.
I don't know. I heard that
if they're right, I'm awesome.
I heard that Smurfs did not test well with audiences. They didn't even do a Thursday night premiere for it because of the bad reaction that it got. So I'm not sure. Everything I've seen, audiences didn't like it. That said, I Know What You Did Last Summer did do a Thursday night preview and did not do well. 2.2 million.
Yeah.
And they're only looking at like a $15 million opening weekend, $15 to $20 million. So
Jurassic World could potentially come in second place again.
Even if it has another 50 or 60% drop off, it would still make $15 to $20 million, which could keep I Know What You Did down. The sleeper might be, and I don't know, because I don't know on how many screens it's on, is Eddington. I know not a lot of people are talking, but this is the one with Joaquin Phoenix, Emma Stone, Pedro Pascal, Luke Grimes.
Oh, the A24 movie.
Yeah, the one where it's like this dirty, corrupt sheriff or something versus the town politician
trying to
guy.
run for mayor. And
it
looks interesting.
It does.
Look good.
It does. I don't think it's on a lot of screens because of all these tent poles taking up all the screens. But I think that one might get a little more attention than what people are thinking. So
it's definitely one that I wanted to see because, A24 takes a lot of swings, and sometimes you're like, let me just wait till it hits the streamer. But this is definitely one that I was thinking about going to go see in the theaters for sure.
I would agree with you. And now going to the ones that we can still see, I'm going to make a prediction that all of these will probably not be in theaters next week. I'm just saying. Probably, if you want to see them, this week would be the week to do it. That's all I'm saying, because I think they're all maybe Mission, maybe. But the rest of them, I think, all gone by the end of this week.
Completely agree. Got Abraham's Boys, A Dracula Story, Megan 2.0, 28 years later, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and Materialists. So, yeah, we will see. It's going to be an interesting box office, that's for sure, because we're heading into that fall time, I'm not sure what August release schedule looks like, but, I think so far we've hit the peak for the year. So we'll have a couple movies in the fall, but I think overall we're kind of at the peak of the box office.
I think Fantastic Four is the last big tentpole movie that drops, and then we have to wait until the fall because Wicked for Good and Avatar are both coming out late. I think Fantastic Four is the last hoorah of the summer season to try to close it out, which is interesting because we kicked off the summer season with Captain America. We're going to end it with Fantastic Four, which is a very interesting sandwich in between. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. If you can consider February summer.
Well, Well, because they admitted they launched it during the holiday and called it the unofficial launch of the summer box office because of so yeah, kind of rolled into it. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And then, of course, our IMDb Pros Top Trending segment. Everybody's been talking about Superman, so of course, Superman is the top trending movie. Dexter Resurrection is back. I didn't even know because I've been so engulfed in Superman that I didn't even know that the new show dropped. So I'm going to have to jump on top of that. Hopefully not get killed, but super excited. Top trending show, Dexter Resurrection. And then, of course, the top trending star is David Cornsweet, Superman himself.
It's so funny because if you looked at the top like 4 or 5, it was David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, James Gunn, and then I want to say another Superman. Basically, the top people on IMDb acting wise were the entire cast. Everybody was looking up who are these people, like James Gunn did. Who's David Cornsweet? I mean, so I love that.
Man, social media feeds were filled with Superman stuff
my gosh.
for the past week.
Everywhere.
It's been awesome to see, and already promoting Supergirl, which is really cool to see.
Without doubt, I love that, and I love all of the promotion and the carpet events for Fantastic Four. I just, is it just me? I mean, is this another Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney situation? Because Pedro and Vanessa seem awfully tight. They're touching each other in all kinds of intimate ways. They're calling each other baby and honey, and they're referencing about who wouldn't want to be married to them, and the sparkle in eyes, and how they did. And I'm like, is Pedro her baby daddy? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, they are selling the family aspect really well.
They are actors, man. They are actors.
I love it, though. Their chemistry, their dynamic. And then when you get the other two also playing into, they're fantastic, pardon the pun, on the carpet. But because they understood that the only way this movie works correctly is if people buy into the family. And they are certainly making people buy into that family, at least in the promotion so far. So if that translates onto the screen, I think this is a winner. I think this is going to be good. So
completely agree, man. It's an exciting time to be a superhero fan. That is for sure. Wins on both sides of the aisle. That's for sure.
Yes.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to episode 301. We have to thank you one more time. Anything and everything you can do, spreading the word about ITCAF Podcast, we appreciate it. If you just like, share, comment, anything you do to help us, we really appreciate that. And of course, you guys know you can follow this podcast at ITCAFpodcast on all social media platforms, and the company at Crazy Ant Media, and then our other podcasts, Everything's OKP, on all social media platforms as well. New episode about memories, episode 51, coming out this Wednesday, so be sure to check that out. And of course, you can follow us both personally on social media. I myself am at J Logan Austin, and
I myself am at Crazy Ant CEO, or over there on that TikTok thing, Crazy Ant Guy 1970 still for some reason.
There you go.
I don't know why. You'll find me. Just type in Crazy Ant Guy. It'll come up somewhere. Like,
exactly. Just Google us, honestly. I mean, if you do Google us, like, all of our stuff will pop up.
Like at the top, which we love.
It's really awesome, man. It's really awesome.
It's also really scary, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, please be sure to like that button below, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media. And then be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can get a little bit of something for a little bit of everyone. We got the phone cases, stuffed doggies, blankets, hats, sweatshirts, anything you need for your merchandise needs, that's for sure. But I mean, like, the Emmys are always so weird, because I feel like I get excited for them, but then, like, after they pass, the memories of the Emmys and the Golden Globes always cross each other.
Yeah.
So it's always like, which happened at which show. But, Oscars are still always going to be my favorite, but the Emmys and Golden Globes are kind of on the same level for me when it comes to award shows.
I would agree with that, and I'm very curious now because there was talk briefly with the Golden Globes. But now I have to think even more. Will they finally switch The Bear to drama? Nobody ever thought it made sense to be comedy anyway. And then when Hacks started seeing some success and like they were like, oh, well, wait a minute. But now even more so that the studio is now competing in that comedy. Will they finally make the decision to reclassify The Bear as a drama so that it can still get the wins that it deserves, obviously? But I think there'll be some talk there because I've never understood why it was a comedy in the first place. It's not. In fact, I would say dramedy, but it's far more, it's 70 drama, 30 comedy. Yeah. So even if you category it dramedy, it's heavily on the dramatic side. I just never understood the comedy. I'm like, what? Like, no.
I completely agree. I love how the industry is so receptive to the studio, though. That makes me so happy.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a great show. Deserves all the nominations that it has coming its way. And hopefully we keep continuing to get more seasons of that. Because I think the general public is enjoying it as well, not just like people who are in the entertainment industry, but the people who are a part of the general public.
Yeah.
So that's always very fun, very cool. Yeah, man, it was a great show. Great show. It's super weird to be in the 300 range now with the episodes, so that's a whole bunch of fun. But, you know, there was a vacation that was taken this past week with the one Gayle King, with the one Kris Jenner, and someone else who we know and love. But we were below deck. Or no, we were taking the pictures of them. We were their personal press.
Sure.
That's for sure. On that big-ass yacht.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The real question is, I bet it was her yacht. I bet it was nobody else's yacht. Okay, it was her yacht. The one, the only, Oprah!